two bar stools were given to me by a neighbor. They were unsteady and, as she said, dangerous to sit on, which I wasn't sure why, but when I started to clean and deconstruct them, I could see exactly what we were dealing with. First of all, they were not made correctly. They had been, somebody had used cardboard as the seat. So when you went to put your butt on there, it went right through the seat. So I thought maybe I would reuse that, but it turned out that it wasn't a good fit for what I wanted. So I ended up just using scrap wood. I cleaned them really good first. Then I used wood glue into all of the shaky little rails and stiles there. I took my scraps of wood that I had cut with my jigsaw, and I used some egg crate foam that I got a giant piece of it at the thrift store for like $5. So initially I thought I was going to do 2 pieces of the foam and really make it nice and cushy for the tushy, but after some recalibrations, I decided that probably the best move, since I wanted to use my fabric wisely, was to only have 1 layer of the egg crate and 1 layer of foam. I cut a black and white toile pillowcase. I just cut it in half so that I had 2 long rectangles. Put my foam on. Now this was really me engineering and re-engineering because I had not used this thick of a foam batting before. It was a little bit hard to deal with as far as folding and keeping it in place, but I think that I made the right choice in using the ultra thick foam batting instead of the thinner, because it did such a great job of becoming the foundation and really holding everything together. And then the fabric didn't have to hold the unit together, the foam did. So I used my nifty electric stapler and that's my stapler. And then I went through, I used extra foam. You can see how thick I made those corners. See how I'm trying to like fold it and pull it. But the wood was so sharp on the corners, and I didn't want that sharp corner hanging out and grabbing your hip or your booty when you sat on it. So I knew I could use my scissors and really trim it down really well, which is what I did. So now putting the black and white toile on there, I would say my only real big piece of advice is don't pull it too tight. Oftentimes when you see DIYers reupholstering something, they're like really pulling it tight. You're going to get some ugly lines doing that. You're going to get your pattern all distorted. So just pull it enough that you don't have a lot of wrinkling and moving of fabric, but don't pull it so tight that it becomes like this distorted, and what happens is the corners start to pull away from the staples. So here I am, kind of engineering this piece because, again, super thick foam, but it turned out so good, so cute, and trimming off all of the excess, just kind of neatened it up a little. And I hated then how the bottom looked because you could see it through from the underneath. So after I got the second one done, which by the way went faster than the first one, it always does, and it was easier because I knew what to expect from this extra thick batting. So the second piece went much easier and much quicker. Then I took a couple of pieces of extra heavy construction paper, and I just used basic Elmer's glue, and I just glued it over. I didn't have the upholstery net to put over it, like the dust cover material. So, and hated it. I hated that it was just all open. So I just glued that on, and I'm really, really, really happy with how that turned out. It looks clean. All the edges look finished, and it has that little extra protection over the edges of the material. Both of them came out really good. I painted the bar stools black. That's 2 coats of black chalk paint. and which I made myself. And then I just screwed in those seats, and look how cute they are. Oftentimes, I say no when I see people painting vintage items, because anytime you paint an antique or a vintage item, you alter it in its value, you alter it in its status as an authentic vintage piece. But on the other hand, these canisters were so blah. So now taking them up with this glossy enamel black paint, and then adding just this little bit of decoupaged black and white buffalo check trim and some sassy little sunflowers. And these have been elevated from something truly kind of, well, invisible to something so adorable in a kitchen. I can't wait. These are go up in the Etsy store this week, and they are just so cute. I hope you agree. Take a look at how they look once they were done. This adorable set of nesting trays I found at Goodwill. I had it in a haul video. I'll link that in the description. So I thought, what can we do with these that will make these cute and different? And black seemed to be the way to go. At first, we decoupaged in some black and white check napkins, and they were not good. So the next piece of business then was what could go in these and make these really unique. And I had this ribbon that I had found, and it was cozy and cute and wintry. So now they're not black and white, they're black and tan, but they are so cute. This little floral basket was one of my finds at one of our favorite little thrift stores here that supports women in crisis. And it was adorable, and they gave it to me for 50 cents because it was kind of manky. But a couple of coats of black acrylic paint and some recycled floral foam, and some of that black and tan ribbon, and some really pretty lamb's ears, and some, I think they're hydrangeas, some white hydrangeas. And this all of a sudden is a stunning little autumnal floral, but it doesn't have that, here's your orange and here's your pumpkin look. I just thought this was so pretty. It's a nice, crisp, dramatic, and very pretty floral arrangement that can hang either by a ribbon, or we put a bow on it, or it can hang right from the handle itself. And I think it is just adorable. So this is just kind of, I'm throwing it in like a freebie. This was part of a housewarming gift that we created for a cousin in Colorado. And it was a vintage jar. It got filled with hot cocoa and marshmallows. It has a beautiful little, just kind of a touch of coziness to it with the burlap and with the bears. So I just wanted to throw that in there to show you that if you're doing something, maybe you're making Christmas gifts, don't overlook something super, super simple like a jar of hot cocoa. Okay, so that does it for this video on black and white and on fall elegant stuff and upcycling. And I'm so happy to be back after vacation and COVID. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but I love you. Thanks for joining me on the journey, and I will see you next week.